Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about simple and compound interest. So let's jump into it. Interest is used for different types of loans, like a car loan, a student loan, credit cards, or it can also be used in an investment account. So for example, many times when someone buys a car, they'll pay some money up front. That's usually called like your down payment. And then you'll take out a loan on the rest of it, and that will include interest. Okay, sometimes with cards you'll see it as like APR, and that's like your interest. There's a couple of different formulas to calculate interest. So if you're in particularly interested on a certain one, you can see what kind of interest it actually takes, because this is simple and compound interest for this video. And with compound interest, there's actually a few different types of compound interest. So let's go ahead and look at the formula. Again, we'll look at two types today. Our formula here is I equals PRT. So down here I'm going to define my variables. So I is my interest. Missed an E. Interest, there we go. P is my principal, which is my beginning. The beginning amount. So if I buy a car and they say, okay, you owe $20,000 now on this car, that would be my beginning amount. They may not use simple interest, but ask them before you go. You have rate here, which is your percentage. We use it as a decimal. And then T is time. And with simple interest, that's going to be in years. All right, we're going to find the simple interest now in these two here. There we go. It's just a matter of plugging in my, my things that I know. So I'm trying to find the simple interest. So I have I equals P, that's my principal, my beginning amount, that's going to be $250. Okay, my rate as a decimal, so 0.045. We always move it over 2 times, always, always. This decimal 2 times to the left. Okay, for 3 years. Okay, so if it doesn't say years, if it says months, then you need to convert it, and we'll have one like that in a minute. So 250 times 0.045 times 3. Okay, so that is 33.75. So that means if I owe $250 at 4.5% interest for 3 years, I would have to pay them an extra $33.75 in addition to the $250. Okay, or on the opposite, maybe you have an investment account. If you put $250 in it, after 3 years, you would get $33.75 extra. So second one, go ahead and pause it, get a calculator. I have my initial, or my interest, I'm sorry, equals my initial, $3,000 times 0.03, excuse me, for 5 years. So let's see, $3,000 times 0.03 times 5. So that's going to be $450 is what I would get in this interest on this account, whatever it is. So I would pay that, or get paid that, in addition to the $3,000 that I started with. All right, let's talk about Lupe and her computer, and then we'll do compound interest. So Lupe is paying $12.50 for a new computer. Oh, there we go. She's going to pay 12% interest for 24 months. Usually the lower percentage you get, the less you're going to have to pay in interest. So keep that in mind, especially if it's a lot of money, like a car or a house. So your interest is going to be, or her interest is going to be $12.50 times 0.12. And then for 24 months, now I don't want to put 24 here because it's not years. So 24 months is 2 years. So it's going to be a 2. So I got $12.50 times 0.12 times 2. And that's going to be $300. Okay, so that's for simple interest. really what that means is she's paying $12.50 for the computer, and then she's paying an additional $300 on the just in interest. So that's an extra $300 just because she wasn't able to pay that much up front. So if you can save up your money and pay it all up front, then you won't have to pay interest. Might be worth it, just depends on what you're looking at. Now for compound interest, it's really similar to simple interest, but we have to do it in pieces. So same formula, initial equals principal times rate times time. So what would the total amount of money be in an account where $500 is invested at an interest rate of 6.5 compounded, keyword here, annually, another keyword, for 2 years? Ironically, I don't need this 2 years. Not really. That just tells me how many times I'm going to do this problem. I'm going to do this problem 2 times. But because it says compounded annually, I use the method I'm about to show you. If you see something that says compounded monthly, compounded continually, compounded biannually or semi-annually, whatever they call it, you're going to use a different formula that we'll talk about later in a different video. So I'm going to start here with year 1. So my interest, I'm going to calculate my interest just for year 1 on $500 at 0.065. Okay, now here, because I'm doing this in year pieces, my year is always going to be 1 because it's just for this 1 year. Okay, so here we go. Let's do 500 times 0.065 is 32.50. Okay, that's important. I'm going to use that to calculate my next amount. So for my next year, so let's do that, year 2. Okay, so my interest is going to equal, now my initial amount is now whatever I started with plus the interest from all the previous years. So right now that's just $32.50. So we've got 500, $32.50 is my new initial amount times that same interest rate. Okay, and I don't, again, the year is just 1, so I don't even have to worry about that. All right, times 0.065. So now that is 34.61 rounded. Now I want to know what the total amount is here after the end of the second year. So my final answer is going to be 532.50 plus 34.61 plus 5, whoops. Make sure you know how to type into your calculator. It's an issue I'm having today. We have 567.11. Okay, so at the end of 2 years, then I have $567.11 in that account, which is good. Compounding, especially if you're talking about interest on money that you're earning, is really good. So we want to look into accounts that talk about compounding. The more it compounds, the more money it gets bigger faster. So that's really cool. On the opposite side, if it's a loan or something, don't do that. Try to avoid that. Okay? Depending on what kind of loan it is, of course, they'll tell you what kind of interest it is, and you can work it out, and that way you can be looking at your money. Save as much money as you can. All right, that's all I got for you today. I hope you guys have a good one. Bye.